Advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, we were the first province in Canada to close schools. Effective immediately, we have extended the order to close publicly funded schools. We've also extended the closure of private schools and child care centers for another 2 weeks. I'm prepared to extend these closures even further. Yesterday, we put in place a new emergency order to close all outdoor recreational amenities, including beaches, sports fields, playgrounds, and picnic areas. And today, we're launching the first stage of our Learn at Home education portal. This website provides countless resources and supports for at-home learning. It is clear that we cannot open schools at this time. And at the same time, we have a plan to ensure that our children's education can continue outside of the classroom. At-home learning will continue. I also know that many of our kids are eagerly awaiting to find out if they'll be able to go to camp this summer. I know many parents are looking for certainty when it comes to summer plans. Overnight camps will remain closed.
Are you choosing the economy over schools, though?
No, not at all, Cynthia. What I'm choosing is avoiding 2 million kids going indoors for 8 hours a day for a 2-week or 3-week period. And, we want to get everyone vaccinated. Right now, we don't have enough kids vaccinated. We don't have enough teachers vaccinated.
Then, Premier, are you ignoring that schools have not been safe? I mean, your government has been insisting steadfastly throughout the entire pandemic that schools were safe, that there was enough ventilation, yep, and that your government was doing everything that was necessary. Are you now acknowledging that not enough has been done and that schools have been a source of spread?
Not at all. Matter of fact, I think Minister Lecce has done an incredible job. It's as I've heard. And what's in play that we didn't have before, we need the kids vaccinated. We need the teachers vaccinated.
Questions.
Thank you.
Premier Ford, you asked for consensus. I mean, you asked teachers, you asked your science table, you got regional office of health on board. I mean, you got your consensus, but you decided to do the opposite of what they recommended. And why bother asking for their opinion if you're only going to ignore it?
Well, there wasn't a consensus. They didn't answer the questions. They answered one question, yeah, let's put the kids back in school. Give Dr. Brown credit. He was one of the few that went out there earlier on and said it's going to increase the cases by 11%. We need to get more students vaccinated. We need the teachers vaccinated as quickly as possible to make it safe.
The other issue I wanted to ask about is the fact that Ontario students have now been out of class more than any others in the country. So we're now at about 23 weeks and counting since the pandemic began. Ontario now remains the only province where all the kids are not in school. I mean, you've often said that Ontario does better than other jurisdictions, and the Education Minister has said schools are safe. So why is it that other provinces can reopen schools, but Ontario can't?
Well, we're really, when it comes to all the different provinces, there's no comparison to any province in the entire country like Ontario. We're 15 million people. The closest is Quebec at 8.5 million, but all the rest are 1/4 of our size and probably 1/10 our size. Minister Lecce and his team have done an incredible job keeping the schools safe. The problem is not in our schools, it is in our community. And bringing our kids back to a congregate setting in school after a week off in the community is a risk that I won't take. Today, we're taking further action. We're moving school online only after the April break. Thanks to this online learning system, we can ensure our kids keep learning remotely, even with some disruption. Before and after school programs will be closed. It's taken away their ability to go to school, to see friends, to connect with each other. Last week, I wrote to the public health, medical, and education experts asking for their opinion on the best path forward. And it's no secret that some of them said kids should be back in school on a regional basis for the last couple of weeks of school. We announced an additional $31 million in new mental health funding for our children and youth. And to all the parents, I'm going to tell you that these measures will have an effect on our schools as well. We'll be delaying the return to in-class learning for the next 2 weeks and continue with virtual learning for the duration of the time away. But above all else, I want to provide students and parents with certainty, not the turmoil of school closures because not enough staff are available to teach our kids. The past 2.5 years have been difficult for Ontario students. Pandemic disruptions have taken a toll on kids' mental, physical, and emotional health. Test scores have fallen, parents are exhausted, a generation of students are struggling. Students need stability. They should be in the classroom with their teachers. Parents deserve nothing less. Remove their threat to strike so kids could stay in class. The times we find ourselves in after pandemic disruptions, it's an unprecedented situation that requires unprecedented solutions. That's why when a strike threatened further disruptions to close down schools, our government took action to stop the strike. We introduced the Keeping Students in Class Act, legislation meant to protect the right of kids to stay in class, to learn and prepare for their future. And we used the notwithstanding clause to ensure that happened. I know that it has been controversial. I've always respected the right of workers to fair and free bargaining. But QP refused to take strike action off the table, even when those strikes were illegal.